looking like you.
Well, I have a flowery one written, but
Here are grandchildren. How many of you ever taken care of a grandchild because somebody couldn't make it to work, that type of thing? Raise your hands. Okay, a few. So before we start, this is our chamber where I start with our mission, right? Serve the Vermillion area to prosper and grow. We like to say connect, grow, lead, and we always talk, we change it a bit, right? Together we make things happen. So we want to do things. And then I just want to show this slide. So we had a new chamber member this week. Katie Heine rejoined the chamber. She used to be at the chamber, went to USD for a while, now she came back. Brittany chose to be a stay-at-home mom. So we think this is very good for our team at the chamber and very good for the community. So now we're going to move on to childcare. So you may have heard last fall we started working on this back in October, and there's 2 grants. You know, I don't have kids' pictures, any of that, didn't do it, just a few numbers you can read today. We were asked, it's actually some COVID money that Governor's Economic Development Office had to spend. So we were fortunate. There were 50 applicants, 28 got awarded a planning grant. We asked for $36,000, we got that. But we came together as a community. Our partners were Head Start, USD, Berkowitz Center, Boys and Girls, Vermillion School District. We had Pulse Daycare, United Way, Sue Galvin, who is an ex-principal. We also had, I think I must have missed it, it's really the Children's Center for families. And I'd be remiss today, it's kind of bittersweet, because if you know Carmen Stewart, passed away yesterday, she was instrumental in these 2 grants and just a great advocate for kids. But we were fortunate. I'm going to just take you what did we do or what did we learn from that grant. Then we applied for an implementation grant. We received that. I'll tell you what we're going to do with that money. So what did we do? We contracted with USD, Government Research Bureau. So we had surveys and focus groups. We had 390 responses from the public. Then we went to child care providers and staff, 32 responses. And then we went to about 30 businesses and we had 10 responses. And then we had 4 focus groups trying to get different demographics of people. So it's a pretty good, it was very fast paced, right? We did this in about 6 weeks. Usually it takes about a year, so anything can be compressed. As my college professor said, there's nothing you can't do over a weekend. It may not be very good, but there's nothing you can't do over a weekend. So these are just some of our findings. You can go to the Live Vermillion website. Both are up there, all the details, and we've done a couple community meetings just trying to educate people. Most would prefer a licensed child care center or school-based. So we did go to both unlicensed and licensed child care centers. They want more options in Vermillion. Cost is a big factor. It's kind of right. They want lower cost child care, but then when you talk to the owners of child care business, they want to pay more. So you can't have both. Something has to give. 80%, which is very good to hear, are satisfied with the option they chose. Like I said, providers wanted to do more compensation and training. And then businesses are dissatisfied. They don't open up early enough, not enough options. It affects the recruitment, it affects the retention. So it's pretty common sense, validated what we knew. So we summed it up in 3 themes, right? They want more accessibility, they want affordability, and then high quality care. So after we won that award, we used that data to apply for an implementation grant. Again, it was not through DSS, it was Governor's Office of Economic Development to get the money out. They had 40 applicants for like 15 million. They said they had 1.8 available. They awarded 13, so we're very fortunate. One of 13 that got it for 3.7 million total dollars the state gave out. So we asked for 500, the max you could get was 400, so we're very fortunate of that, but we have a great, creative, innovative solution, we thought. And we called it Vermillion Cares. And again, Carmen laid the framework how we did all this. Again, we came together as a community, all of us as one, so we're not fragmented, so we're all working together, so it's a community solution. A little small, but that's all right. So what did we do? We addressed the accessibility, affordability, training, and then we talked kind of like a STEM lab. If you remember, you had the Jolly School. So we really went into the quality, training of teachers, and then training, take that on to the kids. So if you look at, we'll back up a little bit here, 26% of the people, I think this is the right number, Kelsey could tell me if I'm wrong, live in poverty. So that's 362 children in Vermillion area live in poverty. The other statistics I found interesting, 76% have dual parents working, so there's about 462 kids that both parents are working outside the home. We're identified as a child care desert, not enough child care. And then about 20% of their income goes to child care, if you have a child. And again, the study, both the implementation grant and the other grants are on our website, takes you through many pages of different data. A little hard to see, but this is stats of what do we have available in child care today. Those that would report. So like we were very fortunate, Pulse Church and child care opened up, but you lost the kids center for home, and this summer Dina Brady is going to close her in-home daycare. So as we gain some spots, we lose some spots. So the left-hand column, if you can't read it, we have about 78 slots available for infant children, preschool about 108 in the early age, and then after school you have about 82, and then way over you have Boys and Girls Club, which has been a godsend. I am on their board, and things we do a minute about 156. So that's how many kids are being placed around. The studies show how many did long did it take you to get child care? How long did it take you? How many did you have to go to? Are you satisfied, etc. So this is kind of what we're working with as our guide. Any questions? Board?
No, I'm not bored at all. But what does it cost for a kid to be in child care these days?
About 200 a week, 150 to 200 a week, on average. I know somebody that relocated from Vermillion to the Wisconsin area, right, happened this Wisconsin area. They had to have a grandparent watch the children for 2 days a week for 9 months because they couldn't get into child care full time. And that's, a city with a couple 100,000 people. Also doing this study, I've had conference calls with our peers, about 8 of them, to see what their solution is. Some are pre-buying equipment for childcare. Some wanted to go more in-home childcare, so if one closes, it's only a few people, and it's closer where you drop off kids. But like Watertown has a challenge now, one's going to close, 120 people. So everybody has the same challenge. What Brookings did, their school district said preschool will be free, so the Boys and Girls Club is going to do a pivot up there and really go after the infant care, 0 to 3, coming first of the year. So every community has different needs, and every community has a different solution. So what our solution was, again, there were 3 points to it, is expand infant toddler slots at our 3 licensed childcare. So Children's Center for Children and Family, we're going to get 8 slots, which by just what we spent money on to do. Pulse, we have 5, and we're working on a solution for another 5. Berkovich Center, we have a potential 16. Things kind of change between us and university, so we'll see if that happens. And then we have 46 preschool slots that we can get. So we have about a total of 75 slots by everybody working together, some training, putting up a wall, some different things. We can get that many more for our community. Go ahead.
46 preschool slots, so is that going to be then at the new elementary school?
Yep.
And then Boys and Girls Club, is that how those are counted?
Pretty much, yeah. So if we look at, we have 4, we're very blessed as a community that the school district is giving the Boys and Girls Club Austin School. And we're doing upgrades to it. We'll talk on a minute. We can have 4 classrooms. We're going to relocate Head Start from Trinity there. So we have 3 classrooms can be used for preschool or repurposed in any way we want. So that's where we're very fortunate for capacity. Did that answer your question?
I think so, yeah. So I guess, so the 46 is then there's 46 full day slots? Is the
Could be, yes, depending on staffing, and we can go up more depending on staffing.
Okay.
And then it depends on age, on all those ratios, things I don't know. Just some ideas what we could spend on safety items. So like in the Austin school, we're spending a lot on the sprinkler system, right? Making everything safe there, locks, all the safety things. You can get equipment supplies. We put money in training and certificates. So even the unlicensed home ones wanted to make sure all their staff is trained appropriately, and so we're coming together to do that. We work with United Way, haven't rolled it out yet, but if a family couldn't afford some childcare and really needed it, we'll probably do some fundraising. They could give out vouchers to augment that. Did I say that correctly?
Correct.
We're doing some with marketing so people know what childcare is available, what options they have. We can defer some salaries, so we're trying to make it sustainable long-term, but that's a challenge. And then on high-quality care, we use Sue Galvin and her company really to make like a stream lab that everybody can use, train teachers, and really get streamed with, we're working with the school district, all the preschools, all the in-home daycare, so they really have tools to train the kids so everybody gets a jump start. So I see some heads nodding, I see some confusion looks, so any questions there? So that's it, so very brief. Go ahead, Kevin.
Can you tell me again what STREAM stands for? I don't know an acronym for science.
Who knows it better than me?
Science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and math.
Math, I think so. Whoa! You would have been the last person I thought would get that one. But no, so it's quality care we hit, accessibility by increasing capacity. We've worked with some businesses may prepay and buy some slots, so for their workforce they're available. So it really takes public and private partnerships. But you know, we also looked at the age of the child care providers in town. Some are aging. So we're working with the school district, how they can get certain credits in high school for it if they wanted to go in that profession, and just trying to elevate it as a profession and get compensation to come up.
Can you tell us how does that work? How does a business support an employee that needs childcare?
So I mean, if you look at what Boys and Girls Club opens before school, which is good, after school, snow days helped us a lot in my former life because they can do drop-ins. But you could take USD, for example, or my former employer and say, hey, we know we're going to get workers. We want to donate X amount of dollars. Can you keep a slot or we get preferential treatment when one comes open?
Okay.
So they're investing there. Or they could pre-buy some type of thing. So just trying to be a creative solution. What can we do?
And that'll also be one of the ways that the voucher program is going to work with, hopefully, with businesses specifically for a fund that is for people with infants or toddlers that don't qualify for state aid. There's, you know, this benefits gap where people make too much to get aid, but not enough to actually pay for things. And so that fund, which is going to be called Connecting Care, the idea would be to cover that gap, and that's something that we'll be talking to businesses about investing in.
And that's an important thing to make sure that it's like kind of front of mind for people too, is that there is state aid for preschool, which really can very much help somebody, but it is a hard cliff. So if you are $1 over the income threshold, you get nothing. If you are $1 under the income threshold, which is, you know, something in the range of like 40,000 or something like that, or like and we have 3 or something like that. But anyway, $1 below the threshold, you can get like $10,000 a year. So it's like $10,000 to zero. That's the way that goes. There's no tapering down. There's no partial benefits if you're, you know, near that threshold or something like that. So I think that's something that's really challenging for people. Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of value for businesses to be able to promote. You know, the new school in town to recruit people. There's value with Boys and Girls Club here. There's value knowing what we're doing on childcare or having some available. I know recently someone moved to Sanford Vermillion, and a key thing was Boys and Girls Club and the availability of childcare, or they wouldn't have come. You know, and I just had an idea. I think anybody that retires officially in June can get naming rights for a fee on the new childcare center, like the O'Kelly room for a year.
Make mine the arts room.
We could do that, the STEM room, whatever you want for a price. Just goes up from there. Go ahead.
What's the current pay and benefits for a preschool worker?
The average is around $14 an hour, if I recall correctly. So more are in it for the passion for it, and even more than some on the compensation side needs to go up, in my opinion, is you flip it over to the certificate, ongoing professional education they want, that type of thing. We also had in our solution, before we didn't get all our full money, almost have like a mini staffing agency. So if you're at in-home childcare today but had to run an appointment or sick, we could send somebody out to your place to continue it instead of shut down. So we're still working on some of these other creative little ways to keep everybody open. Yes, sir.
Licensed and unlicensed. What's the criteria for license that?
What I hear, it's very laborious through the state, Department of Social Services, very rigorous process. And once you're licensed, if you choose to, you have reporting to Big Brother, so some people don't like that. But it opens you up to more state aid or SNAP funds, different way to take childcare. It's really a moving target because you could say these many are licensed in the city, but we know through this, so these X numbers are licensed, and then these X numbers are really providing childcare. So there's a little disconnect there, but those that we reached out to that are in-home childcare providers just say, hey, I'm full, I don't want anything to do with the government, I don't want to have to go through the paperwork, reporting, I'm just fine the way I am.
There is a number of children though, right? There's a threshold that you have to be licensed if no.
I have no idea.
Yes, once you get over 12, I believe you do
You have to
be
re-register.
licensed. And within city limits, you do have to be registered, and that's more for our emergency folks.
Yeah.
If they get a call to a fire in the middle of the day in a residential area, they don't necessarily expect 12 kids in the basement, but they would want to know.
Yeah. But I also think it's different, registered versus licensed.
Yes, registration is just more of an informational
Right.
situation versus the licensing that has a lot
Yeah.
of inspection and things to do with it. But in order to get the state aid, so if I'm a low-income person and I want to have subsidized care, I have to go to a license. Unlicensed can't take
Correct.
state aid. So helping those folks get licensed could also help us with the affordability situation.
So we did reach out to many. We're including some funds of safety items, training, everything, to no matter if you're licensed, unlicensed, we don't care. We just want to improve quality of care and training. We've asked some and they wish not to, and that's their decision. Do you have a question, Joe?
Are most of the employees at these various establishments permanent Vermillion residents, or are they college students?
I can't answer that for sure. I know some are college students. I know we're trying to work close, like in this was Dr. Amy Swineley. How can we use international students because they have to work on campus like Verkovich Center, or what can we do so it's a good employment for them? But I can't give you a direct answer on the ratios. Yes, sir.
Is this the same situation around like neighboring counties that we have around? Is this the same situation we have?
Yes, it's U.S. countrywide childcare. State of South Dakota, it's very big childcare. So at least this raised awareness, got us all talking. Like Watertown's going to lose next June 120 bed childcare. So I don't know how you compensate for that. And so people add, like if you look at Sioux Falls, that MB went out of business. Not MB, excuse me, but one of them went out of business, which had Apple Tree, stand corrected, like 4 sites that went out of business, so everybody had to scurry. So it's a national U.S. issue. So hopefully that enlightened you a bit. So,
Are you optimistic? Do you feel good about the future of childcare? I know this is just a step.
I think it's a good step for us to come together and we'll keep working on it. I mean, we've been on it, we meet weekly since last October. We'll implement this. We got the money, say in May, we have to have it spent September, and there's some creative, all above board things we can do to continue on, but it's always going to be a challenge on the cost versus compensation issue where it gets into. We'll try maybe to get a KinderCare or somebody bigger that does the business model to come into the city if that made sense, but we're a little small there. So, some people say it should be all government funded and others say, no, it shouldn't. You chose to have a child, you should know what you're going to spend. So it's somewhere in the middle probably. Dr. Quayle?
Well, I just wanted to say, I think one of the best things about this is they're breaking down silos that can be done. BCBC done, everyone's kind of talking together, working together. No one's this $1 organization just having the same goal and knowing each other is awesome.
So, yes, sir.
Is there much federal funding, or do you have to get it all through the state?
The federal funding, my understanding, I don't know enough, goes to the Head Start where that's free. Like our Head Start, I learned a lot from Carmen. They go up like 4 counties they take care of, and they're located here. It's amazing. So they're out of Trinity, but they have one room in the Children's Center for Home. They do the Verkovich Center. They go up to Turner County, all these others. So that's where a lot of the funding comes from, and that service is free that they provide. So I'm assuming it's federal and state funding there.
I heard something on public radio, I think it was last week, that Sioux Falls is implementing some free program all summer long for everybody. I think it might be free breakfast or lunch. I don't know.
That I don't know, yeah.
We have free lunch here. Every day at noon after high school, there's free lunch available to anyone under 18 in Vermillion, and anybody over 18 can eat there too. It just costs you a couple bucks. So if you're ever looking for lunch, you should check out the free meal at high school.
So, but I want to thank everybody in here that's supported childcare and just appreciate it. So thanks for letting me just update you where we are.